with us the technical difficulties we've been having today. Should be all patched up and ready to go next week. We're just transitioning our streaming system a little bit. How you doing today, Will?
Good.
Hey, we got a close-up on your forehead there. I think we might need to just slightly reposition the camera and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, look, here's my forehead.
I like your hair. I think you're trying to show it off today, man.
Well,
All
it's really
right.
long. I was gonna get it cut, but
Beautiful. All right. So let's open up this itinerary that I had open before all this crashed and I had to redo it again. All right, everybody. So today is the 17th of January. We're going to be doing the community live stream for today, and we've got a couple of things on our plate. First of all, Neureal's ready to release our community task list, and we're going to be going over that in just a few minutes. We've also got a whole bunch of questions from members of the community that Will and I are going to be answering here on the stream. We might also be joined by Jen, hopefully, but she is pretty busy. Will, do you want to go ahead? Do you know all the events that we're going to be taking part in here coming up soon?
what are you talking about?
For instance, we were supposed to be, we've got an event coming up this week, I believe, Bitcoin on the slope or Silicon Slopes. And then we've got another one coming up. We've been invited to another one at the end of the month. So I guess maybe I am more up to date on this than you right now, which is fine. I was the one who was trying to keep track of it. So, are there any other events that we have coming up though? Because I thought that we had one that we were, what's the one that we're being a part of at the end of next month? Or
I'm
I'd
not sure
asked.
what you're talking about.
I was talking about the event that we got invited to go present at, the cryptocurrency event. It's supposed to be taking place there, I believe, in Salt Lake City. I don't know if it's the end of this month or if it's the beginning of next month. But I thought that was supposed to be. Anyhow, moving on to the next point. Oh, anyhow. I apologize. We're just getting some stuff in the back. All right, let me go ahead and go to that then. Well, let me scroll to this other agenda we had written down on the other side. All right, so let's get to general project update. Will, do you have anything as a general update on the project today?
I don't know. So, well, just so everybody knows, this stream is probably going to last about an hour. So, just so everybody knows, we'll try to keep it, and we won't go past an hour, but we might be shorter than that if we don't have anything to talk about. So, just so everybody knows. The next one we haven't set, but eventually we will, sooner than later. We're thinking about Saturdays at 7 o'clock MST. So that's kind of what we're thinking so far. So we would have it kind of stable at that time. So hopefully that works out for everybody. Like Kyla, like you were saying before, everybody could go ahead and put the times they want into our
Our survey, yeah, we've got a SurveyMonkey link that we're going to drop into the Telegram group as soon as this is over. We'd very much appreciate it if you head there. It's just going to ask you a couple of questions about the time zone that you're in, what times you prefer for the stream, and what days you prefer for the stream. We've only had a few answers so far, but right now it's looking like PMs on the weekends is the best. We'd really appreciate it because that's going to help us serve you guys better and make sure that we start these streams at a time that is more appropriate for you guys to be able to join. And if you are in a different time zone that this ends up being in just not a good time for you to join live, we really want to start getting you people, everybody in the community, to join live so that we can get all of our questions in together and we can all make sure that we're on the same page every week.
Also, if you can put that in the chat, that'd be awesome too, because then people would see it.
Yep, I'm trying to grab it right now. Did we have any other updates on the project this week?
I'm getting to that in just a minute. So we want to probably introduce who's on here. I'm Will Bound, the one of the founders of Neureal, one of the three, Kyler.
That's me. I'm Kyler, and I am the community manager. And then I think that's it for this week for now that we're going to introduce. Do you want me to introduce the other founder who's here with us? I didn't know if he had a mic on or not.
You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Turn the mic.
He's here with me actually in the office. I'm in the real office right now.
Beautiful.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Great. Yeah, I'm Jordan, and I don't really work on the project very much, but I did. Started with Will, so it's been a good time.
Thanks, Jordan. Nice to have you around.
Cool. All right. So hopefully all right. So now to the project update. We've been really struggling hard for the last week or whatever to get our marketing. Mainly the main thing that we have, kind of the key thing we're working on is a rebrand of the website. And so, I mean, not just the website, rebrand of everything, like a facelift is what we're calling it. So we really, we haven't really had that before, like a really good front facing present look and feel and easily digestible to compare with everyone else out there, not compete, compare. So, um, so uh, we've got a couple of candidates we're looking at, and if you're in the Telegram, you can see that we've got some people coming in who are gonna we're gonna be working with there. So anyway, so that's the main thing. We've been kind of
Absolutely.
exploring that. Plus, I've talked to a couple people that are possibly we're trying to find people to kind of reaching out and making an outreach for people to join our pre-sale. The kind of the accredited investor thing. So we're out there looking for people that are interested in the project itself, what it means, what its potential is as far as like what it can do as far as prediction. We're excited about that. So we're looking for people who can really see where we're going and see the potential of what we're striving for and want to join us. So if you're that
Perfect.
person, get a hold of Kyler.
Yeah, and also, how many? I know that we don't have a whole lot of tokens left, Will. So how many do we have left at the moment?
So just for the alpha sale, we're still in the alpha sale currently. We haven't started the official pre-sale, but we are pretty soon. Once we get the website stuff kind of worked out, um, have a site that people can actually join up with for the pre-sale. They'll be able to fill out KYC, fill out creditor status, and put in a pledge amount and put in their Ether address so we can whitelist it when we start the project. So we'll be doing that. We'll announce that as soon as we get that done, hopefully here soon. But we do have, we're still in the alpha sale. We have about 6,000 tokens left of the NECP in that sale. So those are, $21, but we're very, very stringent about who those people are. So you either have to know me, like personally. It's all on me, so it's really risky for me to get involved with people at this point, um, because it's on me. So we have they have to either know me really well already, or they have to prove they're an accredited investor. Um, and then also that they can contribute to the project in some other way, not just monetarily.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and because we're really looking for a community here and people to join and have some sort of a contribution.
Absolutely. And that's another perfect segue into my little update about the work that's been done on the community front this week. So everybody who's watching this, you probably don't know this yet, but we have we've been invited onto another streamer stream for a couple of nights in a row. I'll probably be appearing again tonight, just because he wanted to have us get on and talk about a couple more updates, and he wanted to ask me a few more questions about the project. But he has a community of roughly 20,000 people that he's going to be combining into ours. They've started a Facebook group for us, and as we're releasing these task lists, it's very exciting. We have a group of about 10 moderators that are going to be coming. They've started a Facebook group for us, and they're going to be keeping out all the bots, spammers, and generally answering questions and making sure that everybody is able to stay informed and that they're getting their information from the correct sources. So we're super excited about that, and we're really excited to have them on board. We've got more that'll be joining here pretty shortly. I just have to make sure that I do have that one-on-one conversation with them and make sure that they're here for the right reasons and that they really want to be a part of the community and understand the long-term vision, and they're not just here to reap a couple of bounties and get out, because that's not what we're looking for, right, Will?
Yeah.
All right, guys. And apart from that, we want to announce that is it good to get in the task list, Will? Will, do you want to go through just the things that people? I'll go through the task list itself and I'll share it and run people through just a couple of the things. But do you want to share just the things that people should be aware of if they want to contribute to the task list?
Yeah. So the main idea for it is we're coming up with the guidelines and specifics on if you want to contribute to the project, how you can, and I mean, basically, it's the idea is that anybody can go. I mean, anybody obviously can go do whatever they want. But if you want to be rewarded for that, if what you do is we have guidelines that you can follow, and if we decide at our discretion that that you're contributing, then we're offering some sort of either Neureal token or some ether for those things. But we have to it has to be like you can do whatever you want, but we have to see it and okay it. So like we have a email that you can send a submission in that you want to be considered for that. So we do have some available to give out for that kind of stuff. So we've got a 1.0 version. Is that right? Of the we're ready to release to people.
That's right. We've got Neureal Task List 1.0 that's ready to release. I'm going to go over that here in just a minute. I'm getting it pulled up on the other side of my screen. There we are. All right, let me go ahead and share this with everybody. All right, let me just make sure that's actually broadcasting. And it looks like we're on. Cool, guys. So this is Neureal Tasks version 1.0. And as you can clearly see here, it's broken down on the side here into different types of community tasks that we'd like to have done. So the very step one thing you have to do in order to be considered a part of this, in order to be considered for reward, is to join the Telegram group. And then you need to read the documentation at the top there at your own discretion. But Neureal is an open source project that depends on the power of community, and we really do believe that. So step two is you complete any of the following tasks on this list, and we'll probably be adding, not probably, we will be adding some more tasks to this and changing up some of the tasks that are on there as time goes on. But you finish up the task on the list, and then each section has a little segment that tells you how to submit yourself for consideration for the bounty. And then we as a, it's we as a board, right? Or is it you, Will, at the moment? I think it's, we decide.
I'm saying I'm taking the final say because it's me, giving out the NECP. So
yep.
So I'll do the final, but definitely I'm listening to the board. And
now, how does this change? Can you explain real quick how this does change when it changes from NECP to Neureal?
Yeah, it's not really a board. It's just the other people that are on the team, right? So
yeah, that's what I meant. But how does it change when it goes from NECP to Neureal? They can still get Neureal tokens until they're locked, correct?
Yeah, just so people know about that. I mean, if you don't know already, NECP tokens will be, once we do the private sale, we'll have a contract that you'll get for every NECP token you get now, you get 400 of the neurons. I mean, not the neurons, the Neureal tokens when they come out. So
Yep, and I should clarify, I asked that because that's a question that was asked in the mod group today when we were going over the initial part of this. So
okay.
I know that several of them
NECP,
are in the chat.
yeah. Oh, okay. NECP token stands for Neureal Early Contributor Points. So those are the tokens that we've been giving out for the project since it started. And that document, you can look at the current allocation. It's a public document, and let me get the link and put it in the chat here.
Perfect. And that's all of that information, by the way, in case you're ever curious, is available at neureal.net. We're very open about all of our company to a fantastic degree, I think, Will. So moving on from that, there's a whole list of different things that you can do in here. And I know that we've got a couple of writers that joined the community recently, so let me go over this real quick. We have an entire content writing system that we're going to keep up to date, but these are essentially ideas for articles and different guidelines for writing articles that we need to make sure that we go through. And I want to make sure that we go through some of these terms for the entire community in general. Will, do you want to go through those? Or do you want me to go through them? It's just specifically investor and that sort of thing. So it's the most important ones to make sure.
I'm sure. I'm sorry. I was trying to put the link in.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. So specifically, I just want to read through a couple of these and make sure that everybody in the community understands. If you have any questions about these, feel free to ask in the Telegram chat or in the chat on the side here during the live stream. But you use the term investor, you use the term contributor or purchaser when referring to people who are buying or receiving token. You don't use the term ICO, you use the term token generation event or TGE when referring to the public token sale. You make no promise or return of or guaranteed income in value or financial or time contributions. Perfect. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and link the document. We're going to go ahead and link this document permanently in both our Telegram and our Telegram announcement only channel. Speaking of which, if you're watching this now and you're in the Telegram, but you've not yet subscribed to the Telegram announcement only channel, it is pinned to the top of the group. I think that these are the most important parts of this to go over, but that's those things there are not just important for content writers, they're important for everyone in the community to remember. And so let's go to the bottom here and just use this as an example of how you'd submit yourself. Here at the bottom of these social media moderation posts, which you moderators that we just brought in, this is the big segment we want you to read. If you would like to be considered for available bounties, submit your information or submit your email at info@neureal.net. All right, and I honestly think that the rest of this document speaks for itself. Other than if you have graphic design or video editing skills, we really badly would like to hear from you. Was there anything else you want to add before we move on from that, Will?
No, that's great. I'm excited to get going on that. So it's going to be awesome.
Perfect. I need just a second to pull up some of the community questions we had this week, but I actually have one right now. Actually, Will, do you want to go through a basic, because we have so many new people joining the community, of what Neureal is? Just a basic explanation, or do you want me to do that?
I talk about it all the time. Why don't you do yours, and we'll see how you
see how I do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me grab a drink real quick. So in its essence, I mean, most of you people have been in mods in the other group that we're talking about, but in its essence, what Neureal is combining blockchain technology, which is a distributed ledger, and AI predictive algorithms in order to produce a platform which allows us to continuously produce the most accurate AI predictive algorithm in the world. And that can interface with just about anything you can imagine. And the really beautiful thing about this to me is that it's the same type of algorithms that are currently being used by a lot of the top companies in the world, Facebook, Alphabet. Most of them are using predictive algorithms for a lot of things. Airlines are using it to try and picture how many people are buying tickets and not showing up. But unfortunately, just having one of those algorithms right now in the first place puts you light years ahead of the game from everyone else. And so there's not a whole lot of incentive to continuously improve those algorithms, and therefore they don't. Not only that, but what those algorithms are used for and what they are used to predict is solely controlled by a very small number of people who have a very limited number of ideas about how that can best serve a lot humanity. And I think that what the beauty of Neureal is that it fundamentally gives everyone on Earth the same tools and abilities as those most powerful companies do. And the way that's presented is, if any company or individual has a question for the network, they bring it to, they can either do it by themselves if they understand enough about data science, so they bring it to the for-profit Neureal business, which is called Powered by Neureal. They present a reward in Neureal tokens, or sorry, neurons at that point, as well as some parameters for the prediction that they want, which Powered by Neureal will help you put together. And then it's distributed to the network. Different predictors on the network that believe that they are going to have a good chance of succeeding at doing your prediction then compete in order to get the most accurate answer available. And only the one that is most accurate gets the payout. So it's a really beautiful system that combines a lot of the wonderful things about public ledger and eliminates the wastage that happens when so many are just trying to crack a hash. Is that a decent enough explanation, Will? Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, that's great. That sounds awesome. It's good to
All
hear
right.
other people's views on it. I think Jordan's over here, and he wants to pitch in. I think.
Oh, please do. I gotta pull up a document. So somebody else talk for a second while I find
He
this.
got excited when you were talking about that. He's like, ah. I see him over here.
Hey man, I'd love it if you
gotta-
pitch in.
Yeah, we got to hear Jordan's view.
Okay, I'll just say one little thing.
Okay.
I'm more of a big picture guy, more of a philosophy kind of person. And so one thing I would add to that, there's been a lot of hype recently about SingularityNet, and they're kind of doing the similar thing, but they, and maybe we up until this point, I don't know, have not realized, I don't think, how important it is the network itself, not only just be able to talk to itself as far as have a economic incentive to connect with the correct nodes, so to have that communication more at an algorithmic scale, right? There's an algorithm of the AI on the machine, and then there's an algorithm between AIs in the network. That can be really complex, but at this point, seeing it as, oh, it's just a marketplace. I think it goes deeper than just a marketplace. Figure out what that looks like exactly, but as far as long-term philosophical and algorithmic mathematical understandings, we want to go deep with this. I mean, as far as I know,
No,
my 2 cents.
No, I love that. Will, if you want to pitch in again, I had to mute you because we could hear him both through yours and his. Jordan, I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on this because this is something I thought about as a marksmanship instructor about what is the definition of intelligence, and that seems like a funny thing, but one of the things we used to do in the Marine Corps was try and break down people how thoughts actually work. so that they could learn where to intercede in those thoughts in order to be able to overcome fight or flight responses. And so you learn about the OODA loop, and then essentially what you learn is that like all of human intelligence, not just human intelligence, but essentially the way that humans define intelligence even in other animals is the ability to record data, recall that data, reorder that data, and then use that data to make useful predictions about the world around us. And the more accurate those predictions are, the better and more intelligent the individual is considered, right? And so by that definition, what I find, one of the things I love about Neureal is that it's literally giving people the ability to become more than themselves, become smarter, one step at a time. And I love kind of what you're saying is that it's not just for individuals, because that's the step that we're on right now. But I thought about this the other day. The way that the blockchain interfaces, it makes it so that other AIs in future that need predictive services as a part of what they're doing could interface basically seamlessly with Neural Network and have us be their prediction portion of their AI.
So let me talk about that really quick. So you're
Slightly wrong or really wrong?
no, what Jordan's saying, I totally get it, and it plays to the comparison as well. So when you compare to other systems out there, one of the things that a lot of them are doing is they're actually including the architecture into the blockchain. And what I mean by that is that they are um, uh, they're they're doing what Jordan said. They're making the thing itself be an AI thing. In other words, it's not just a marketplace. It's more than a marketplace.
Right.
So Singularity Net is a marketplace. I mean, it's not more than that. They're not promoting. They're not saying they're going to be more particularly. Not at least of what I've read. Yeah. So as far as I know, they're not like saying, well, we're going to be something different, right? But it's an important part of it to have an actual marketplace using share. But what Jordan's saying is that, and we run into this all the time when we talk about the architecture in the real, is that the actual glue that puts these AI these you know these other AIs out there together itself could benefit from being an AI.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is that the blockchain itself could be an AI, like somehow. So the question is, how does that work? So like, okay, so just to be clear, the real the way we uh, the way the current architecture um, speaks to that is that the actual thing that we're doing ends up being what's called an ensemble. And so an ensemble is a particular way uh, to coordinate multiple different kinds of algorithms in AI, basically. It's a particular way to do that. And it succeeds a lot on like uh, the Kaggle competitions. When people create these models that to win these competitions, they do these most of the winning ones are ensembles, right? That's not the case for like ResNet 50, for instance. ResNet 50 or these like really high end stuff that the stuff that's winning like the end to end learning stuff that's winning like all the stuff out there, and they're doing what's his name talks about it on the NVIDIA CEO just barely at CES. We all watched that, and I spread that word. I don't know if you watched it, Gordon.
That was a good video.
Yeah, it was really good. So the NVIDIA CEO is like, well, we have ResNet 50. We ran it with our, big, huge supercomputer GPU stuff and we're able to categorize like flowers super, super fast, like way faster than human capability. Okay. So, with this machine that sits here, he showed it to us. It's just this little box this big, and it's competing against, once they trained it, it's competing against humans. The capability of humans, it can surpass the the categorization of the flowers of humans. So they actually got this train, right? So, uh, so what I'm saying is that is not that model. It's a different model, and the ResNet 50 is a really deep, super deep. Like there's I don't know how many layers, like 150 layers. I don't know if it's ResNet 50 that's that, but anyway, it's like a massive, deep neural network that's really interconnected and very hierarchical, and it has all this, So it's very so an ensemble is a different architecture. It's a different thing than that. So the only thing that I can say about that is that it's the scalability. How can you scale ResNet 50? Like, and that's where people get into that whole like we've had a lot of questions and people talking about. I've actually had one of the questions. This leads into one of the questions I think that we were asked on the Telegram, and it has to do with like how do you do, or no, it was an article that we read actually. It was an article that I read about this guy saying, well, how do you can't, the scaling problem for AI is that you can't get the data coordination with these high bandwidth um, communication paths when you're talking about 300K internet or something.
No, I remember that was the article I shared with you, and we were
Oh,
asking
Jen?
if that affected us.
Hey, look who showed up.
Hey, Jen is here.
I was like,
I know, I'm like kind of door.
well, that's never happened here at this office.
I know.
We were like, who's
breaking in?
who's breaking
I
in?
know,
Who's
sorry.
the square?
Hi.
Hi, Jen. Welcome to the
So,
broadcast.
I can't hear anyone. Like I was out listening.
Jordan's here. Look, he's already
I
using
know,
our
I'm so
whiteboard.
excited. It's like old homie. How are you?
Yeah. All right, well, that's cool.
So when is Silicon Slopes, Will? And do we know if we're actually going to be presenting there or?
No, we're not. But Singularity, one of the Singularity advisors is going to be there.
Yes.
And we get to talk to them, Singularity Net. So that's going
Oh
to be awesome.
wow,
Yeah.
that is going to be
Yeah, we're
really
excited
good.
about that.
And Civic is gonna be there. Vinny Lingam is gonna be there.
Who?
Vinny Lingam.
Oh, Vinny Lingam. Jonathan Johnson, who's running Medici, which is the exchange here. That's the credit investor crypto exchange.
Oh
Here in
right.
Utah.
Storage.
Jonathan Johnson, and then who else? Storage.
Yeah.
Like we're going to a storage party tonight. Storage A. They're having a party tonight.
Yeah, I
It's all
heard.
it's got quite the blockchain thing for here in Utah. So we're
The
pretty excited.
former somebody from Microsoft, I think is gonna be there.
Microsoft.
Mhm.
Oh.
Ooh. You know who else I heard was going to be there? Romney.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I heard
Oh,
he
sorry,
announced he was
Orange
showing up.
Mitt Romney.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be a schwanky get together. All right. So hey,
Yeah,
Will.
Jordan's solving all the problems over there. He's like, he's got our next level architecture going on in the whiteboard. He's like, oh, that's easy. I'll just do it. You guys are talking about this, how to integrate and deal with the bandwidth issue. I've got the solution.
Oh, that's great. So hey, actually, Will, does that lead at all into the question that Cameron Ruggles asked in the Facebook group last night? Because I thought that would be a good question for the stream too.
Oh yeah, Cameron's awesome. So I've known him for a while. He's a local as well. He's a local Utah guy.
Friend of mine too.
Oh yeah. So he runs a huge Bitcoin Facebook group that's really big.
And Monero.
Oh what?
And Monero. He runs a Monero page too.
Oh really? Cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna get into that, but he asked about this has been something that's been a long time. Like one of the first things we talked about storage is it's the quote Oracle problem. Remember how that whole thing? Yeah, and we worked it out. Like we figured it out. I think pretty much figured it out. The problem is that this is the original problem that Vitalik came up with, right? Or at least it was getting talked about, and he talked about it. So the problem is that in a public oracle, the authentication or the value of the data stream itself can be suspect, and that's the issue. So the oracle problem is that you can't. How do you trust the data stream itself? Because that's how the source of the data. Like the example is, it's supposed to be the Bitcoin to USD price from exchange, but it ends up somebody switches the number at some point. Or
Yeah, I think that's what I was asking you the first time we whiteboarded.
something. And you actually realized that. But what we realized at one point, and I think it was when we were doing when we were actually doing the blockchain, some other blockchain thing we were working on. And I realized at some point that a private oracle doesn't have that problem. So if the oracle itself, it's the problem is when you have money being given to the oracle, that's when the problem comes. But if the oracle itself, the provider of the data, is putting the money up, then the incentives line up correctly. So private oracles actually do not have the same problem. And so what we ended up doing was we were like, well, that's how we'll make the whole platform. It's just private oracles. So how do we then? And it's interesting that Cameron came up with that, because Cameron was the source of my thinking about what's called the tragedy of the commons. And so the oracle problem is actually the tragedy of the commons problem. It's the same problem. And the issue is that how you get people to like, if you need to build an outhouse in a village, how do you get people to contribute to that? If no one person can build it, right? But you need a collaborative effort to build the thing. How do you get people to build that together? Like, if there's not, because like I could be like, well, I'll still get used to the outhouse if I don't pay any money. If Joe over here puts $10 in or whatever, and then why should I put the $10 in, right? Because I'll still get the same benefit, right, without the thing. So what happens is nobody builds the outhouse.
Right.
That's the tragedy of the commons. It's a tragedy because it is a tragedy because we could have all built the outhouse together if we just all pitched in $10, right?
No, it's interesting that the Neureal idea for it is my similar idea for how the tragedy of the commons is solved, and that is you make it private.
Well, that
gone.
doesn't really solve the tragedy of the commons, so I mean, by itself, right? So you solve that problem. You can have a private thing. So basically, the private thing in that situation is I'm going to build my own outhouse because I have enough money, and I get to exclusively use it because I'm the one that put the money up.
Or decide who gets to use it based on what they offer me.
What did you say, Jordan?
You can control who uses it, but you'll have to have.
Right, and that's the whole private thing. That's what private is. That's the difference between that and a public. So how do you come up with a public good that people can? How do you figure that out? How do you deal with that? How do you set something up? Well, Kickstarter is a really good example of that. So Kickstarter is an example of how that can work, how you can get that to work. And so what that is that, let's say you need $100 and to get this outhouse made. With Kickstarter, you're like, well, we need $100. We can't get it made without $100. We'll start putting money into a pot, right? And if in a certain time limit we can't get $100 in there, then everybody gets their money back. And all you have to do is do that, and people's psychology, it switches a thing off in some people's psychology, and they end up like doing it. That's something they wouldn't have done before. Not everybody, but a larger percentage of people. And so it's a structure that people can understand and deal with them, and it solves that in certain situations. So there's other solutions as well.
No, it's interesting. Like this just combines with something that I learned as doing sales training a long time ago, and that's just that if you can talk people into taking mental ownership of something, even when it's not entirely theirs, but if they can contribute to it, if it becomes partly theirs through that sort of effort, they put a lot more time and effort and money into those things.
Yeah. So there's other solutions, like you just said. Like there's other ways to get to figure that out. But that's in essence. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with that. So we're going to say we're going to have everything private, and then we're going to say, okay, here's a trend. You can set up an Oracle transaction that has a Kickstarter function. And so basically what it does is you put it up there, and then people, people can they can upvote it in a sense, that particular one, but it sits there with no money in it. So you started out with no money, right? And then people can contribute. So as they contribute to it with a particular timeout, if it raises above a certain amount, then it goes live. The money's locked into place, and the predictors can then have the chance to get that money. And so that's what it works. But if the timeout happens, then everybody can get that money back, basically.
That makes sense.
If it doesn't reach the amount that you put with it. And so, people can upvote those or downvote them, but that would be on the marketplace, and we probably won't have that. I mean, we might put that in ours. I don't know. Like, it all depends on how we integrate with that, But that's on the Oracle side. So most likely we're going to have to put that into our client, even if there is a marketplace, because we're going to need that. Because the Oracle side is not really marketplaceable for a system. I don't think how that would, like, for instance, how would it work on Singularity? Like, how would we have a market for Oracle projects, Kickstarter Oracle projects on Singularity Net? I don't know, maybe. I don't know how that would work, but anyway.
There could be there might be a way to do that. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we'll have to end up putting that in our client. Anyway, so that does, I don't know if that answers that. I think he asked something else too. Cameron asked something else, not just the. Oh,
yeah, he
was
asked
talking
something.
about. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say he asked something right after it. Let me see if I can pull it up if you can't remember it.
Yeah. We gotta have Jen say her update too.
I would love to get Jen to, like, even if Jen just wants to cover what physical events we've got coming up that Neureal's going to be a part of.
Physical events that Neureal's going to be a part of. That's what Tyler says.
The one on the 30th.
Yeah, that's the one that I was asking about.
And then give everybody an update from your point of view of what's going on, what we did in last week, and what our plans are.
Okay.
Maybe you can just jump in the chair here.
I'll take over the captain's chair.
You can just talk. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Taking over the
jump in and
captain's chair.
talk. People can hear you.
Okay. All right. Physical events. So, gosh. So we have the event coming up on the 30th. We have this week. We have Silicon Slopes. You guys talked about that a little bit, I think.
Yep.
I can't hear anyone, so I'm just gonna keep talking.
That's okay.
I'm gonna lots of hand signals, Kyler. That would be great. Okay. So we have Silicon Slopes coming up this weekend. I have put up a bunch of trying to get a lot of meetings with people that are flying in for that. And then we have so that's all day Thursday, all day Friday, and then we have the big event coming up on the 30th of this month. That's going to be our kind of one of our bigger meetups, we think, with the Bitcoin group. So a lot of people hopefully will coming to that. We have a sponsor for that event. And then I'm trying to think of what else we did this week. A lot of articles coming out. I met with a couple different marketing groups. We've talked about new graphics, new website. So I think that's it. I don't know what else. Okay. All right,
no, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Jen. No, that was perfect. Thank you. You were great.
Right. Will and Jordan have gone into programming
programmer
over
mode
here, and yeah, this is about as behind the scenes as it gets, I think, tonight.
That's good. Hey, no, that's really good.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Cool. So
hey,
when you want to talk, it's you don't have to use your mic on your phone.
Yeah, you can hop in front.
You can mute your mic, and it'll pick you up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So so everybody can hear Jordan right now, right? Yeah. See, he can hear you.
Sweet.
Come a little bit closer.
That way it doesn't have that feedback issue.
I really don't have much to say.
Oh yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. How are we doing on time here?
We're doing great. Well, we're doing great. We've got 12 minutes left.
Okay. So, well, are there any questions? Let's try to answer as many questions as I can in that time.
Yeah. So Cameron Ruggles' second question was, I see I've been thinking about the Oracle problem lately, and I came to the conclusion that it's unsolvable. So you have to do something like internal logic plus statistics, scientific method. But always curious to hear how others are going to do it. Other question: what's the utility of having this on a blockchain, decentralized computing, as opposed to just renting out a massive supercomputer for a few minutes? And it's great because that is a question that we've actually got several other places too, Will, huh? That's something Pierre asked last night as well.
So I answered it awesome. I think, can you read the answer I gave online really quick?
I can. Will says it's for predicting live data continuously. Also, our goal is to be the world's most accurate. We're going black swan hunting. And I dig it. I love it.
Who doesn't want to hunt for black swans? We're going black swan hunting. No, the question is, do we actually kill them or not? That's the question. And I would say, I would say no. Because finding a black swan is like, whoa. Like, that's actually going to happen.
So I've
Whoa.
had several people from the community ask me if there were any updates from our legal team or anything like that. I said no, but I guess this is now a good time to share if there are any.
What did you say?
Oh, I said a couple of people in the community have asked because you said that our lawyer had some important updates coming soon. They've asked if that's available, and so I'm reminding if, and if not, then we just say next week maybe.
I'm not sure what updates. Like,
Oh, they said that we had said last week that there were some exciting things our lawyer was doing.
oh. Yeah, we haven't got there yet. So what we're doing actually is what we're working on is the an update to the disclaimer and the risk factor document for the pre-sale, like for the pre-sale and the public sale.
Perfect.
So right now it's like a minimum version on the Alpha Sale website. So that's just me, but we're doing an update. We're getting it really locked in. So those will be ready. So we haven't finalized that yet. It's going to take a while.
No, but
We'll be working on that.
That's really exciting. I'm really happy to hear that we're getting progress on that though, because that's one of the things we need to get in place, right? So
There's a couple things we needed to get in place. We need to get that document in place. We need to get the legal entity in Barbuda. We need to get the website facelift done. We need to create the pre-sale login site that I talked about earlier. Pre-sale. What is it called when you? It's the
accreditation check.
Accreditation, KYC, and pledge. I don't know what to call it. It's the sign up.
Yeah, that works. Verification, login, something.
Yeah, and I need to actually finish writing the sale contracts, and so those need to be vetted. That's another huge thing that we'll do.
And then this is probably a good place to post this since this goes out pretty live and publicly. I don't know that this is something we need before we launch or anything, but if you have graphics cards, do you know which models specifically? Do you have those available? I've got them written down in a document here, Will. We need the project. We'd like to reach out to the community. If you know where we can get a hold of some of these specific graphic cards, we're willing to pay for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're gonna, we're in Neureal, we're purchasing a couple NVIDIA graphics cards for two reasons. Number one, so that we can maximize the money that we have, and also so that we can mine with them and get some money with them, but also because we will be using those as our test rigs and development rigs.
Exactly.
For the development once we get going with that. So we're making a small investment. So it's just really hard to get NVIDIA cards. This is very, very telling about the whole mining thing, in that even video game players cannot get the video cards that they want.
Yep.
To play their video games because of cryptocurrency mining. And we're doing that. We got to be, we are we're gonna make that even worse because people are gonna need NVIDIA cards, particularly for ours, and there's gonna be people buying those to create this AI of the world, but that's great because at least it's not Google.
Yeah,
It's
no,
us getting the cards, so the
and
price has gone up.
and it's everyone getting better too. You know what I mean? I dig
Right?
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we've got funds to pay for those. We just can't seem to find them at a reasonable price. So if you're out there and you're a member of the community, hit me up particularly, and I'll connect with you and help us find those particular NVIDIA cards. They're the 1080 Ti's. I'll post them into the Telegram group later as well.
Yeah, we're thinking of maybe getting a Titan V too, quite possibly, but maybe we'll wait until we get the GeForce with the V100. Yeah,
Oh, the
or
Volta.
until after the public sale, we'll probably wait for that.
Oh, the Volta. Gives me chills, Will.
So anyway, but you interrupted me. We were still trying to go through like what we need
Oh,
for the public sale. I just wanted to ask Jen what if she could think of anything else we need other than the things I listed.
No, I don't think so. That's it.
Is that everything? We get all those. We're ready to go.
Yep.
Ready to launch.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you had finished because you checked off all the boxes.
Yeah, I don't know if those are the boxes. Are those all the boxes? For sure.
apart from spreading the message and yeah, I think that's
continuous marketing. I mean, like actual things we need to finish. Okay, so that's great. That's awesome. Do we have
and
any more
we're 3
questions?
minutes. We did, but I'm having trouble pulling up that same document because I'm logged into this YouTube page, and for some reason we discussed Google's issues earlier.
Okay, well let's finish up and sign off here. The important thing is if you have questions, and I just did a search online for the hashtag our limitless future. So that's the way you want to do it, whether it's on
Facebook, Twitter, or Google Plus.
Yeah, anywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, or Reddit as well too. Do your hashtags so we can look it up. Our limitless future, OURLIMITLESS future, with a hashtag. So we'll put your questions up that way anywhere, and we'll find them.
Perfect. Or you can send them directly to me through the Telegram channel. Once again, if you're here and you haven't gone to the Telegram channel, please take the opportunity to do that. Like, just everybody, if you're not there yet, head to the Telegram channel, and then specifically head to the announcement channel, because that's something new we created this week. It's going to keep you updated on just all the announcements that are going to be happening here on the Neureal program, and it also gives you access to signing up for our twice monthly email system. With that being said, I think that's the end of the stream. We don't yet have next week's stream scheduled, but we are more than likely going to be Saturday at 7 p.m. Was that right, Will?
What's that?
Saturday 7 is what I thought you said at the beginning. Is what we're gonna have next time.
At 7 p.m. Saturday 7 p.m.
Yep, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Currently that's gonna be the best time, but we may update that as we get more analytics and we get responses in our survey.
Perfect. So like I said, head to the Telegram channel, head to the announcement channel, and then make sure you keep an eye on that for next week's live stream. Thank everybody so much for being here. It's been a fantastic stream today, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.